Great. Well, hello, everyone. Thanks so much for spending some time with us. My name is Adam, and I serve on the Friedens Moving Outward ministry team at Friedens United Church of Christ in Indianapolis, Indiana. And today I am just so thrilled to be joined by a couple of members of the United Church of Christ, a national Just Peace Steering Committee as we prepare for Just Peace Sunday. We also have a couple of leaders from Friedens, Leo and Sierra, who are really involved in some of our justice and food advocacy and combating food insecurity work. So we're going to have just a quick kind of conversation to update you on the major priorities around Just Peace, to connect some of that to what we're doing at Friedens, and just to all sort of be together in solidarity as we work towards a just world for all. And so with that, maybe Mike, we'll start with you if you just want to briefly introduce yourself, and then we'll go to Sheila, and then Leo, if you're available, you can say a few words as well. Mike.
Great. Well, thank you, Adam, and hello, good people of Friedens UCC. My name is Reverend Michael Neuroth, and I'm the director of the United Church of Christ office here in Washington, D.C. I've served for the past 15 years as the offices and the UCC's international policy advocate. And as part of that work for these many years, I've been the staff to the Just Peace movement and network that Sheila is the chair of at the moment.
Sheila, that is so exciting. And I should have said, I am here with the director, not merely a couple of leaders, but the leaders. Sheila, do you want to say a few words of introduction for yourself?
Well, thank you. And it is truly an honor to be with you today. My name is Reverend Dr. Sheila Harvey, and I am delighted to head up the Just Peace Network with my dear friend Mike Neuroth, who also heads up our Washington, D.C. office. We have just been very excited about the work that we've done in this field. We have over 200 churches throughout the United States in the life of the church who are Just Peace, and we're just delighted that you are one of them.
Terrific. Great. Thanks so much. And our friend Leo is currently on the telephone. Leo, if you've got a second, do you want to just say hello? I know everyone at Friedens may know you, but do you want to say just a couple of words about who you are and what your connection is with Friedens?
Yes, hello. My name's Leonardo Colon, but go by Leo. So at Friedens, kind of help with the food, like serving food in the local community, and in partnership with Sierra. So we actually started like an after-school program working with a nearby middle school. So we started with the 7th and 8th graders. We started a program called Grow, Cook, Share. Just getting more people, especially the youth, more connected to the food system.
That's great, Leo. And also a very talented chef who I've been able to benefit from Leo's skills in the kitchen. So appreciative, Leo, of all that you do. Well, one of the things that I think in local settings and local churches, sometimes we don't know the reach of the UCC. And indeed, we do have a Washington, D.C. office, if you'd believe it. And Mike knows all about it. So I thought, maybe you'd like to tell us just a little bit about your role and leadership there, and how principles of justice and peace kind of inform your work.
Yeah, well, thank you for that introduction. First and foremost, just to, again, lift up the fact that we do have an office here on Capitol Hill, literally right across from the U.S. Capitol, right across from the Supreme Court, where we hold space for the United Church of Christ as advocates, lifting up your voices and the voice of General Synod through our Synod resolutions. Really, as you said, Adam, earlier, for a just world for all. That's the vision that we hold from this office. We advocate along with interfaith and ecumenical partners on a whole range of domestic and international issues. I just was promoted to be the director as of just right before General Synod this summer, but I've been serving in this office for over 15 years. And really, it is unfortunately, it has become at times a little known secret that we have an office here, but I'm really hoping to change that narrative and really excited to welcome more people coming through our office to advocate directly here to your members of Congress, but also encourage folks to connect with our office through our communications channels. And I'll put those in the chat here in a minute. But we manage the UCC's Justice and Peace Action Network, which is a weekly e-action alert message that goes out to our members, and then they send letters to members of Congress on a whole range of issues. This coming week, for example, we're going to be doing some advocacy on the Farm Bill. So whatever the current burning issues are here on the Hill, where our values as the UCC speak to, we send those messages with and on behalf of the United Church of Christ. And just to say, how that connects to Just Peace, about 15 years ago, when I started in this work, several clergy approached me and said, the UCC's witness as a Just Peace Church has been such a formative part of our local church ministry. And kind of where has that gone? And so we began to brainstorm, how do we breathe some new life into what it means for the UCC to have declared itself a Just Peace Church in 1985, and really kind of deepening our commitment to intersectionality and the holistic commitment to addressing structural injustice, which is at the heart of the UCC's Just Peace pronouncement that leans into and out of the theological concept of shalom, peace with justice. And so over the years, we've developed the steering committee and some other newer resolutions. And it has been for our office also kind of a lens through which we, particularly I've looked at a lot of my international policy work, but really even as director now, I see it as a point of intersection across all the work that we do, along with the other covenants that we hold, open and affirming, accessible to all, racial justice, green church, etc.
I love the words that you've used there about holistic. I think that is, we talk a lot about shalom within our Sunday morning services, and it is wholeness and completion in kind of God's divine image. And it is holistic, the dignity for creation and for each other. It's great to hear a bit about the history there to 1985. And folks at Friedens will know Reverend Tom Blossom actually was involved with some Sri Lankan work around Just Peace. Gosh, I don't want to age Tom, but maybe a decade ago. Tom's been a longtime advocate for peace and justice in our midst, and we're so appreciative for him. We had a conversation recently with someone who you may both know, Reverend Brooks Berndt, who is the environmental justice minister at the UCC. And we had a Zoom with him because he wrote a book that we read as a church, Cathedral on Fire, that was about the climate crisis. And we have another author in our midst today, Reverend Sheila. You wrote a book as well, Messages of Hope, about just peace. And I understand this is designed to serve kind of local settings. Could you tell us some about that book and how we might use it?
Well, thank you, Adam. I'd love to do that. I introduced myself earlier, but I didn't share that I am a local church pastor, and I serve as a local church pastor at Union Congregational United Church of Christ in West Palm Beach, Florida. And this book was birthed out of my sermons to them during COVID. And as a result of so many folks telling me how it inspired them during a difficult time, I decided to curate it and talk about it in terms of it being messages of hope, preaching peace and justice for all. And so I have found that it continues to offer inspiration for people and provide hope. Some of the ways that people have been using this book are as follows. Some have used it as a devotional, some have used it as a study. Some have just used it as a resource. So just depending upon what the needs are for a particular person or groups at that time. And that is what it's used for. And we were so happy to have a workshop here for our Justice and Peace folks. So we talked about it as well in that type of a setting. we also were excited to share a little bit of it at the World Council of Churches. Mike and I went to, and I talked a little bit about it there as well, just from a local church perspective, and how we can use a book like this to help an individual see how peace and justice can be seen within our weekly services and devotional. So it's been helpful.
Yeah, and I love that's such a good backstory that during COVID, that you in search of hope for oneself and to help to motivate hope within your congregation. That's, I'm a pastor's kid. And so I have a unique view on, what it's like to be a clergy member, or at least what it's like to observe a clergy member closely. And that was a challenging time. So I think that's a great opportunity to lift up. That is the way that you responded to that challenging time. So maybe even clergy members who are seeing this might say, hey, I should get that book.
Well, a lot of my colleagues have, and I appreciate them so much. And they have, I've circled back to a few of them that I know closely. And I say, well, how has it been for you reading? And they said, it's a great resource. It's like a little treasure. So thank you for mentioning that, because I did leave that part out.
Good. Terrific. Awesome. Well, a great example for noticing peace and justice in our lives every single day, sometimes even every moment when we pause to reflect on that. And somebody who I think, and Leo, I don't want to make you blush, but you are someone who helps me notice peace and justice in every moment. You're so warm and affirming to be around as a person in the world. And I love your energy. I thought, following with just what Sheila shared about these kind of moments for reflection and action, could you talk some just about, maybe expand a little bit on that kind of food program that you created with Sierra, or just speak generally about how you see food playing a role within the principles of justice and peace?
Yes, but thanks, Adam, and thanks for all your compliments. So, but going back to, I guess I could touch base a little bit on both, so both Sarah and I kind of work with in conjunction to kind of make fresh local food available for all people here in the city of Indianapolis, especially when we first came together, where we came up with a program called Grow, Cook, Share. So this program is, we're showing middle schoolers how to get their hands dirty in the garden, how to use actual fresh produce. Because I kid you not, a lot of them, when they see something with a root on it, they laugh, or they don't know what to do with it. So we're getting these youngsters familiar with kitchen skills, knife skills, so then they could feel empowered to do it themselves, or show their families too. So yeah, Sarah and I kind of we kickstarted this program where they met with us twice a week, and then at the tail end, the goal of them was to have enough skills so they could make a meal for either their friends or family.
I just think that's such good work to do. And thinking about, it's so easy these days to get so disconnected from the food chain, how it gets, from the farm to the grocery store to our plates. And there is some injustice across the board in the process, whether it is about, the safety and humanity with which we treat animals, but also concerns about labor conditions and wages, etc. And that's we live in Indiana and we see cornfields all around. So let's get our hands dirty, right? Let's understand what's going on there. Leo, that's awesome. Thanks for that good work.
Oh yeah, you're welcome, man. I guess, and you kind of spearheaded or got one more idea, but basically, with the group that we were working with, we were it wasn't just like your typical, like Adam said, your Indiana corn-fed kids. So the congregation, or the population that we were really working with, which is a Chin population that's kind of nearby, the Friedens here in Indianapolis. So just seeing their background too, because a lot of them weren't born here in the United States. So just getting them familiar with some of the customs and traditions that we have here.
Terrific. Yeah, Leo, thank you for highlighting that. That's you're 3 steps ahead of even where I thought to go. That's absolutely great. And that's just an opportunity to highlight, we are sharing space with them as well. We've been able to host other Chin congregations in our facilities. And so that's another partnership in the community. So Leo, thanks for highlighting that. Just terrific work. And do you see how warm Leo is? Don't you feel like a big hug? It's good. So we've got just a couple of minutes left here before we get wrapped up. But I just wanted to turn it over to both Mike and to Sheila for just any, what are the words of encouragement? What are the things that we should be alert to in the coming year around just peace? And Mike, if you want to go first, sure.
Sure. Yeah. Well, first, just to make a connection between the work you're talking about, local food programs, local farming issues. One of our office's priorities for this fall is actually, as I said earlier, is going to be the Farm Bill, because there are some really big structural justice issues and funding issues and environmental justice issues that are all baked into these big omnibus bill called the Farm Bill that is up for reauthorization. And we need to make sure that Congress does so using principles of justice and equity and sustainability. And so our office will be highlighting that this fall. But then, as through the lens of just peacemaking broadly, the work of our 2 different committees that are working on just peace issues, they're taking on a range of other issues as well. Certainly the continued challenge around the war in Ukraine is an ongoing morass and moral dilemma for all of us, and so the need to move our Russia and Ukraine and our country's role in pushing toward a diplomatic solution and peace is an important focus for us. And as a related issue, kind of the nuclear threat that remains operative. I know some of you may have seen the Oppenheimer movie. I know Sheila did yesterday. So those intersection of issues are really key. And then, in our work, we often lift up kind of the 4 spheres of just peacemaking: peace with the earth, peace in the community, peace in the marketplace, and peace among nations. And so we always try to cycle through all those different lenses in our work, and there's intersection across all of them. So you mentioned Brooks's work on environment. We're helping Brooks here deliver the climate hope postcards that he's been collecting this year, and we're hoping to deliver those to the EPA. But there are there's a lot of our environmental issues in the Farm Bill, and one of the biggest factors around the environment that people don't pay attention to is the environmental impact that U.S. militarism has. The Pentagon itself and the U.S. military is a huge contributor to the problems of our carbon footprint and climate change. And so all the way around, there's so many different points of intersection, and that's really where our UCC Just Peace voice is in delving into and teasing out these intersections with the goal of pushing us toward a holistic peace.
I love the way Mike speaks to just peace from this point of intersectionality and holistic vision, because that is very important. And I like to also add the importance for our local Just Peace churches to understand, regardless of where you are on this journey, it matters. So a lot of times congregations, even my own in the beginning, can be overwhelmed with all of the needs that we may see happening in the world, and we want to tackle every one of them, and we can be reminded that wherever your congregation is on the Just Peace journey is okay, it's important, and it matters. If on your corner of the world you're focusing on one thing, that's important, and we want to hear about it. If it's not something on our list per se, it's still important, and we want to hear about it. So I want to share with our Just Peace churches that whatever your issues are pertaining to peace and justice, we care about it and we want to hear about it, and we think it's important and that it matters, and that the journey is just that. It's a journey. It can start and meet right where you are and go and join forces with others. We hope to be a network and a place whereby we can share maybe some of our best practices, some of the things that we've learned along the journey. Maybe find another local congregation that's sharing some similar justice issues as ours. So and learn about something that's happening in another part of the world that may not necessarily be of concern to us, but learn about why it's concerned to of someone else. So anyway, we hope that you stay on this journey, and that you join with us if you're thinking about becoming a part of the journey, and realizing that becoming a part of the Just Peace Network is really about linking in with your wider church and sharing all of the many ways that we are church together. Justice and peace encompasses all things justice and all things peace. And so we hope to have you join us. Thank you.
A wonderful and invitational message there. Thank you for it. In fact, another church in our association found out, I don't know, a few months ago that we had become a Just Peace church. And a pastor there, she said, well, I'm taking this back to my congregation. And I'm saying, we got to catch up. Friedens is already doing it. So I think that's a great example of how we can all work together and share our best practices and lessons learned, etc. Terrific. Well, I think that I think that's it. I think that's about our time that we had. Am I missing any closing questions or thoughts?
I'd just like to say, we're really grateful that you're marking Just Peace Sunday. And our theme for this year is a just forgiveness in the way of peace, building out of Matthew, the lectionary passage of Matthew 21 through 25. And really that's, this question around a just forgiveness. Forgiveness itself is a principle within our faith tradition that is so important for us to really consider and think more about, and yet to not untether that from the question of justice, right? That so often forgiveness can be misused, overused, and too easy. But in our approach and in the Just Peace literature, really this question of what does justice have to say to forgiveness is a really important theological question, and hopefully some churches like yours will be wrestling with what this concept means in your coming Sunday.
Yes,
absolutely.
We have resources as well on Just Peace Sunday. We invite everyone to take a look at.
Terrific. A wonderful conversation together. I will be sure that as we share this video out, in the notes with the video, we'll include the links that Mike and Sheila have provided to us. And yes, if you want to be a part of Just Peace Sunday, if you want to celebrate with Friedens, we live stream our services. So if you're in the Indy area, of course, you're welcome to attend, but you can also just find our website and watch the live stream services. We'll be doing a call and response reading of our Just Peace Covenant, and just be spending time together in discernment about the journey of just peace. And so to Leo, to Mike, to Sheila, thank you so much for your time today. I really enjoyed it. And we look forward to continuing our partnership together in the coming months and years. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Peace, everyone.
Blessings. Bye-bye.